I was a good bartender. I like bartending. That's like a much cooler, sexier job, and you have power over people because everyone wants a drink. But to be a waiter, everyone's like shouting. I couldn't keep the things in my head. I had a complete meltdown doing that.
Do we make the obvious James Corden joke, or do we just move on? Guys, congratulations on the movie.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of you both. I love Judd Apatow, I love Nick Stoller, and I have to say this movie is exactly what I was hoping for.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you both. Billie, I'm going to start with you. When you first started doing Billie on the Street, did you ever think you'd be starring in a Judd Apatow produced rom-com?
No, and it's very funny because, I spent most of my career on the street talking to strangers about movies and actors making movies, and now I get to make one of my own. I mean, I've done other things, obviously, but, to star in a movie and co-write a big movie like this, not something I could have predicted. Yeah.
For sure. And just quickly on that, Judd is literally one of my comedy heroes. So how did this collaboration come about?
It started with Nick Stoller, who co-wrote the movie with me and directed the movie, and he's worked with Judd for a long time. Judd's been sort of like a mentor to him over the years, and so Nick brought the idea of doing Bros to me to do a gay rom-com, and then Judd quickly came on board because they have a great relationship, and it's an honor, really. I mean, it's so flattering that they even thought I could do all of this, and then trusted me with it and trusted us, to tell an authentic story,
Yeah, of course. I mean, literally, like I said at the beginning, Nick Stoller, Judd Apatow, you guys, it really does deliver on everything I was hoping it would. So
Thanks.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm going to be completely honest with both of you. I didn't know throuples were a thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, I was clearly born in the 1950s. very close-minded. So I have to ask you both, which celebrity do you think Bobby and Aaron would choose to turn their couple into a throuple?
Oh, like a celebrity couple?
I guess you two are the couple and you're just looking for one person.
Oh. Who would Bobby and Aaron be in a throuple with?
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, for them to have. And they have different things they're looking for.
Yeah.
This is a very good question. We've never had this question.
No, in months of doing press.
Yes.
Who would we be in a? Who do we agree on?
I feel like they would have to be somebody that would be kind of like attractive, but maybe a little dim. Somebody that we could kind of take care of.
Wow. Now you're talking, I think, to your own interests.
No, but I'm serious because there's a.
Yes.
Bobby would always be Aaron's primary, and then there would be like
the fun one, the person we have fun with. Who would that be?
I don't know.
I love that you're trying to think of dim celebrities.
Well, now I'm also thinking about. Yeah, well, now we can't say.
Now we can't say.
You
sorry.
said they have to be dim.
Oh,
We might have to get back to you
I'm
on
so
this.
sorry.
Okay, that's fine. When I'm leaving, just shout it.
Right.
So look, I think a lot of people can relate to your character just absolutely hating his job in the movie. So I was wondering, I love asking this question to movie stars because everyone can relate to it. What is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh man, the worst. I'm a pretty positive guy, so I've always found something that I enjoy. But certainly a job that was really, really hard for me was I was a waiter for a very brief amount of time, and I found it just so. I was bad at it. I was really, really, really bad at it. I'm also dyslexic, so I have a very hard time with punching things into a computer, and the wrong thing would come. I was terrible at it. I did it for a month.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I was also really bad at waiting tables, and waiting tables at a posh restaurant in Manhattan was a nightmare. Yeah, I couldn't do it for very long. I was a good bartender. I like bartending. That's like a much cooler, sexier job, and you have power over people because everyone wants a drink, right? So they're waiting on you. But to be a waiter, everyone's shouting. I couldn't keep the things in my head, the orders. It was terrible. I had a complete meltdown doing that.
Do we make the obvious James Corden joke, or do we just move on?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, he doesn't follow such things. Yes.
So Billie, at the start of the movie, you're talking about the subscribers, about your journey. And I was wondering, as someone who started out making content online, how was Billie on the Street born, and did you ever think it would take off in the way it did?
I mean, it's been a real slow burn with Billie on the Street. It started a very long time ago. The first Billie on the Street type of video I made was for my live show that I used to do in New York in 2004. This is before YouTube came along. It's probably, there are people watching now who were not born. And there are people who watch Billie on the Street clips on TikTok now who truly were not born when I started doing it. And then it had a long life where, the videos went viral. We turned it into a sort of proper TV series in the States, and then clips from the TV show went viral, and then I don't know, we went on Netflix, it went on TikTok, and like every time it sort of gets onto a different platform, it takes on a new life. But it's been a very long road. But I'm very grateful. I mean, it's kind of crazy how mainstream it seems now. There's so much man on the street stuff that happens on TikTok, and people like blame me for it. I take full responsibility for that. Although I didn't invent man on the street, but I guess the modern version of it. But yeah, when I started out, everyone was like, "Oh, it was so edgy and it's niche and it's New York and it's gay," and now all these years later it's extremely mainstream, which is kind of a funny trajectory.
Yeah, it's so popular on TikTok, isn't it? Yeah. I was wondering, did you ever have anyone like big in the industry sort of champion you when you were like showcasing Billie on the Street?
Yeah, actually, Joan Rivers, who was huge here in the UK, was like a real friend and mentor of mine, and when you used to come to those early live shows of mine in New York. Really? Yeah. You don't know my whole Joan Rivers story? Yeah, it's she was really. I'll tell you.
Thank you. Tell us all.
Yeah, exactly. She was really amazing, and she used to take. Back in the day, she used to take my Men on the Street videos and I would put them on a DVD for her, and she would drop them off with the producers of all the popular chat shows in the States, like David Letterman at the time and Jimmy Kimmel and Fallon and all those guys, and before they knew who I was. And she was a real champion. She was very supportive, very encouraging when I was having a lot of self-doubt. I wasn't quite working enough yet.
Can you imagine having Joan Rivers as like your
delivery person?
Yeah, it was so insane. Yeah, she was so much fun. She had a really great perspective on being famous. Yeah. She loved being famous, and she used to tell me, she used to sort of make fun of actors who complain about being famous, which I thought was so great. She's like, what's better than someone in New York, a stranger, coming up to you or shouting, "I love you," across the street? She's like, what's better than that? Why are these people complaining? Which is such a healthy way to think about it.
Yeah, for sure. So look, there are so many funny exchanges between you guys on dating apps, and they just get straight to the point, asking for all types of pictures. So I was wondering, what are your icks when it comes to dating?
I do find like rudeness really, really tough. I mean, like when somebody is mean to somebody or does something sort of dismissive, or I find that really, really, obviously that's a total turn off. I also find people that kind of can't really make eye contact with you a real turn off. I'm saying very generic. But
those are all.
I mean, those are important. They're very important things.
I think people who, for some reason, seem to have one personality when you're texting them and are a different person when you meet them in person. Usually they're kind of less shy over text. And they have a lot of personality and they're funny, and then you meet them in person and they freeze up or something. I don't know. People get really nervous, and that's always a bit of a turnoff and just confusing.
Do you think, like, this is going to sound like therapy, do you think that's because you're famous?
Maybe they're intimidated or something. I don't know, but that won't work out either.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to talk about the bro voice. I feel like I need a bit of help becoming a bro. How do we
you don't? You're great just the way you are.
Yeah.
You missed the message of the movie.
Yes, exactly. Totally.
I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah.
That scene, it felt like there was loads of like improv going on. Obviously, Judd and Nick, they encourage improv. Was there a lot of improv in that scene?
There was. I mean, we worked on the script for such a long time that by the time we shot, also we kind of had this big 1.5 year long pause because of COVID, where we were about to shoot the movie and then we didn't shoot the movie and then it came back. So, and in that time, we kept writing the movie and kept writing jokes. And so by the time we shot, we had a lot of material where the movie didn't require a ton of improv, but there's always room on a Nick movie or a Judd movie, and certainly in the work that I do, like Billie on the Street, which is very improv. I mean, the whole thing is improvised. So, there was definitely room for improv. And some of the boardroom scenes in the museum, with all those funny actors, we were always trying out jokes and things like that. For the most part, we stuck to the script, but there definitely was the freedom to try whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah. So, look, one of the key messages of the film is showing what it's like to be part of the LGBTQ plus community today. And there are many more openly gay and openly queer people in pop culture today compared to like previous generations. And I was wondering, who did you look up to? Who was your inspiration when you were growing up?
Gosh, who are some of the people that I really remember seeing early on? I'm from Canada. There's this kind of sketch comedy group called Kids in the Hall. And I remember watching them back in the day. And they weren't always explicitly gay, but they were the first sort of men that I would see sort of dress up as women and do some skits. And Scott Thompson had this one particular character they did was kind of like the old grand dom queen at like a gay bar, and he's smoking cigarettes and he's talking about the queer experience. And I just remember watching that as a kid and going like, what is that world? And it was so specific. It was nobody that I knew, but I could just tell it was coming from a real space, and it was funny as hell. Yeah. So they were definitely they were a big influence on what I found funny as a kid.
I love that. I was talking to my auntie when I saw the movie, just asking her, because she came out probably about 20, 30 years ago. I was like, was there anyone in pop culture when you were? And she was like, there was literally no one. So it's amazing, like the progress. Obviously there's still like things that need to happen, but like the actual progress, I think that's really, really positive.
Yeah.
So Billie, I'm going to finish by saying that I know you've spoken before about how you're in a position to be making this movie where a lot of people haven't been in your position. Just how important is it that people embrace movies like Bros, and so gay rom-coms aren't such a rarity?
Yeah, I mean, you want people to embrace a movie because it's good. We didn't sit down to write a historic movie. We didn't sit down to write a gay movie. We just sat down to write a really funny movie and an honest movie and a heartwarming movie, a thought-provoking movie. So you want people to experience the movie, separate from historical statistics or discourse, and just, respond to the movie, and then hope that's why people embrace it and talk about it. But yes, I do think that, we need to show the powers that be in Hollywood that these stories are viable, and that there is an audience for them, and it's not exclusively an LGBTQ audience. I mean, the whole reason we go to the movies, or one of the reasons, or watch TV shows, is to sort of, get a peek at a culture we might not know about. You think but you don't know the real nuanced, realistic version of it. So that's what we wanted to do in a funny, entertaining way. And, hopefully people discover it, and that leads to, more stories getting made where we actually get to control our own stories and write them and star in them and, sort of have a more equitable existence in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at me. I didn't know throuples were a thing.
And now you do. We've educated you. We're really teachers at the end of the day.
Guys, congratulations on the movie. It is, honestly, it's full of laughs and it's full of heart, and I can tell how much it means to you both. So congratulations, and I hope I get to talk to you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Stonestreet.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh, on It's Gone Viral.